Hey everyone, wanted to share my Centurion Fiendsmith list I've been playing for the past 2 weeks. Currently 9-0 at my locals with it, so it's been performing pretty well, and I really enjoy the way the deck plays. So I just wanted to share the list and then sort of explain my choices later. But running through the list super quick, it's 3 Primera, 3 Trudea, Atri and Gargoyle as your engine pieces, 3 Engraver, Lacrima, and Lurie. Really solid cards. This engine makes this engine so much stronger, and these cards are all 1 card combos. And for hand traps, playing 3 Fua, 3 Ash, 2 Bell, 2 Nib, 2 Pistols, Juris and Mag, and then 3 Imperm. Just 15 hand traps. I think this is usually enough for me. Then for the rest of the deck, 3 Field Spell, 1 Terraforming, 3 Oath, 1 Bonds, and 1 Wake Up. Tracked, Synced. I play both. It's fairly important for me. Talents, Call By, and Failings. Depending on how your locals is, like Sync might be a lot better just because it plays around Troll. Which game 3 I'd start trying to read it maybe. Then for extra deck, 1 Oxula, 1 Blazar, not any particular order, 1 Fiendsmith Requiem, 1 Primus, Sequence, Caesar, SP, KS Angel, MVP, Cipher, because I don't have a second Blazar, but this actually comes up a couple times. Crimson, Exciton, Nagashia, Lina, Magistus, Trozo, and Lacrima. So these 2 cards are like how you bridge into your Centurion stuff. That's it for the main extra. For side deck, playing 3 Droll, 3 Phantasme, 2 Perulia. This was a 3, but I cut it for the TC Boo. 3 Witasi, and then 3 Evenly. Very solid side deck. These 6 are always staying. I feel like these are always really strong. Droll's kind of a mainstay now. It's really these 6 to 5 that you can find room to cut with. Yeah, so that's kind of the side deck. I'll start over with the main deck and kind of explain some of my choices, I guess, and then we can go on with the rest. So most of this stuff is really standard. I play the tracked and synced because this deck is already kind of bad, so you want to try and avoid as much redundancy as possible, especially when you're going second and you're trying to crack a board. Having synced as 1 push and having engraver to get tracked as another push is pretty important. So it comes with sometimes just a bait interaction. Wake Up and Bonds. I know Bonds is like the first card people cut when they're trying to play like a more combo intensive version of this deck, but I would rather cut Wake Up than cut Bonds because Bonds is super important for your deck. It helps you in your heavy engine hands where you open Trudea and Primera, so you can like normal Primera and then Bonds the Trudea in your hand, and it just like helps you play through interaction, helps clear your cloggy hands, and it helps fix the awkward hands whenever you draw your engine pieces. So I think this card is super valuable, and in the grind game to banish it to like rescale 1 does come up a lot. And I always side out Wake Up whenever I go second. Unless it's like a matchup that I'm confident I can like very easily hand trap them. But that's just like rare. And I guess an example of that would be something like Branded, I guess, or like probably a deck I can't grind with, and I would probably keep it in for going second because I really need to like make the board while I break it. So but yeah, Wake Up's like fine. I side out most of the time because like if you are already playing the game, Wake Up's only live whenever you're playing the game. So like if Wake Up is live, you are probably already winning. These cards are just really standard. There's something really you want to change. Sometimes this sucks as an opener because it locks you, and that's always kind of trash. Nothing to really see in the hand traps. These were Veilers for the longest time. I'm sorry. These were like Veilers and Ogres for the longest time because I was just trying to find like what slot I would really want instead of these 2. And I didn't like Ogre because past turn 1, Ogre felt really bad, and it was really only good against Yummy, and did nothing against Mitsu and Dracotail. And I put in Bestials because it can shut down Yummy if they only have one card. It's decent on Mitsu because it forces them to really awkward plays. You can banish the Kusanagi, cut off their grind game. And most Dracotail lists at this point are playing the branded version. So you'll usually find value with these cards to hit their Albaz or hit their Albion or like whatever they send. Because if you know they're on branded Dracotail and they send branded fusion, they go like loop Albion to banish, you can actually just bestial the Albaz and it kind of fucks them because they have to resolve their fusion as much as possible. So if they have like 2 Dracotail monsters in the hand, they kind of have to use them. And of course there's no way to verify that, but like it's really good if it does come up. Nib is weird. I haven't been the biggest fan of Nib lately, but you could cut Nib and I think it'd be fine. But I'm really scared of Yummy. Like I think Yummy's really tough for this deck just because like Dracotail has a very limited number of pushes, so you're fine with that. Mitsu's tougher, but you can hand trap them more efficiently than you can than Yummy. So like you really just can't let Yummy play, and you really just need to live. Nib is also really good when you make Blazar because like this deck is super strong in the turn 3. So if you get to go first and set Blazar, and they pass back to you, you're winning the game because your Blazar just comes back and it's just over for them. And I found that if I can just survive that first turn, I feel very confident winning the game, and Nib just kind of really helps you do that. Pretty standard Fiendsmith engine here. I really don't think there's anything to really change. You're playing 11 one-card starters just in the monster form. So you have 18 one-card starters in total. So your deck's super consistent. And one thing I really like with the Fiendsmith engine is that Engraver being full combo without using your normal summon is super important, because then if you get hand checked at any point in time, you can just very easily normal summon one of these guys, and then you're just right back on track. The only annoying thing that I find comes up is when you have Synced and Centurion stuff, and you have to play Synced first, which is kind of annoying because sometimes when you have Fiendsmith and these cards in your hand, you want to start with Centurion and then play Fiendsmith, because in an ideal world, you get to make Caesar with your Fiendsmith stuff first, and then Centurion the Blazar Dragon to protect you from Nib. But I guess there's a world where if you make Caesar first and then they can't burn Imperm, and then you make Primera, they'll Imperm that, and then you just have a Primera and a Caesar, as to where like you could have had Oxilla plus Blazar plus other stuff, and like full recursion setup and follow up. So that's like the only annoying bit about this deck, is like you kind of have to be careful how you sequence stuff. Like I think it's more important to let your Centurion stuff go first, and then Fiendsmith to follow up with it. But it just depends on like how you feel with playing the deck. Anyway, that's like the main deck. It's pretty solid. I think the Fiendsmith stuff is definitely the best part of this deck. Like it just helps you with so many pushes. Oh, and also one of the most important things about this deck is like whenever your Centurion stuff gets hand trapped really badly, you kind of do nothing. So like if you summon Primera and then it dies, you don't have a way to like keep playing. But if you open Fiendsmith stuff and your Requiem gets ashed, you have guaranteed follow up on the end phase, and that you can go Lacrima into Requiem, and then that's full Centurion combo. So like that's like one of the best things I love about the Fiendsmith engine, is the fact that even if I get hand trapped super bad, but I still make it to turn 3 with Lacrima in my grave, I'm full comboing you. And that's all without drawing an extra card. And so it's actually super, super nice. Like, it's come up a couple times to where I'm grinding, and normally if I was playing regular Centurion, I don't have a follow-up and I have to pray to draw something. But by having Lacrima, I always have a play. And so if you draw another play on top of that, it just helps you push through the rest of your opponent's like resources. For the extra deck stuff, like most of this is pretty standard. It's pretty tight. I'm not playing Necroquip because you really don't need it. Because what I found was like if you, I'm trying to think of what to say, but if you run into the issue of where you make Caesar first and then you play your Centurion stuff, like I said earlier, your Centurion stuff runs the issue of getting stopped. So I like the Fiendsmith stuff in going into sequence because it forces the imperm really early. So then your Centurion stuff is safe. And even if they hand trap you really badly, as long as your Trudea resolves, you can have something in the scale, and then you can like make SP with the sequence, and then have Engraver and Requiem back into Syncretic. So I guess what I mean is like, if you get hand trap really badly, but your Trudea was live, so if your Trudea is in the back row, and then this is in the grave, you can Lacrima it back into this or Engraver, and then summon Trudea to make a Chaos Angel on their turn, while you use this body with like anything else for like SP. So that's kind of what I mean. Like it's better to bait out the stuff with your sequence and make sure that gets hand trapped first, so your Centurion stuff can live. And the next time was like the 15th card in this extra deck. This card is really good. Like this card is like one of the best reasons why you have a chance going second. And also the Fiendsmith stuff is also really good for D-Buried. I got D-Buried multiple times today, and it just truly didn't matter because I just exit on their board and then go into Fiendsmith combo and I end on Caesar. And I'm still setting up to Synchro on their turn because, you know, obviously I go Trudea into Primera and all that good stuff, and I'm set up to Synchro on their turn. Chaos Angel is amazing. This card's like the wing condition you make in Stracotail because it's super easy for you to make with light and dark, even on their turn when they like stop you, because you know most people aren't playing Imperms and Veilers as much, so your Trudea typically resolves. So your Trudea can resolve, summon Primera, and then that will get Ash, and that's fine. If you have any Fiendsmith cards, you'll get your follow up into this, and then Dracotail can't beat you. You just have to play around Horn and put this in defense. But like once you put in defense, they just can't out you. And it's also really good to put in defense against Mirror Jade, because like Mirror Jade's the other way about this. So if you put it in attack, they'll crash into it, and then Mirror Jade effect will like blow this up. So just keep this in defense against Dracotail. Primus, you only need one. I've never needed two, even in pure. It just feels like two just doesn't come up. I feel like I've only ever needed one. If I get to one, I'm playing the game and I feel like I have a good chance of winning. If you never get to this, like most game states, you find yourself losing, or you get interrupted so hard you can't put two bodies on board. And so that's like, if you can't ever put two bodies on board, having the second one in this doesn't matter. So like this has just never come up. And then this stuff is just really standard. I feel like there's nothing really much to say. I guess the weird thing is the Cipher Dragon, and that's just because I don't have a second Blazar. But sometimes having the Cipher is actually really good, and it's mainly because, you know, like I said, it's like surviving the turn 3. So decks like Mitsurugi are really scary, or Yummy's really scary, because like one negate isn't usually enough, or two negates isn't usually enough. Especially if you're going double Blazar, banishing off the field, so they just get to run into you for free. So having the Cipher, that's 4K, really hard to out, and also protects your stuff for the first time. It's actually really important to live. It comes up quite a bit whenever you're just trying to not die, and this is like a body that floats. So I've really been liking the Cipher. It also comes up against Christian, where the Talons took this card, and then the Sulfurnaire couldn't pop itself because their Cipher protected it. So that was kind of stupid, but it was really funny. So, you know, that was pretty nice. I probably keep playing the Cipher. I mean, sometimes the Blazar comes up because it negates spells, and that's really handy against Mitsu. But this protection against Murakumo or something is really nice too, actually. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel fine with it. If you wanted to cut this for something else, you probably could. It probably wouldn't matter. Side deck, we were going through this, but this card's insane. These 6 are never changing in my opinion. I think Dracotail is a really tough matchup for this deck. At least for pure Centurion is, because You normal summon a card, they horn it back. You play field spells, your follow up. You typically only have 2 to 3 energy cards. They just negate that, would leave you with like Emblem of Oath as your only other starter / extender. And I don't even know what you would do. Like if your Premier gets bounced back and you search field spell gets hit by Flame, and you have Emblem of Oath. You go Oath into Trudea into like Gargoyle, and then you pass because you weren't able to stick that body. Like a lot of times, it's not the effect negation that kills you; it's just like the removal of your bodies. So like, you need these cards just to fucking beat Dracotail. Like Dracotail's such a bitch. This card's super insane today. There was one time like this guy was just did branded combos into a Mirror Jade, and I just evenly'd him for his lunch money, and I only had to play through a Mirror Jade, so evenly is insane. I don't think this card's ever getting cut for me. TC Boo is good. I don't think this is getting cut either. I find this card is really strong. These are the cards that... Oh, okay, that's not true. Droll is staying. I think Droll in the Me2 format is definitely staying. Could even find a way to the main deck. I just don't know how I would find room to cut. Maybe Nibs. Maybe Nibs aren't that good anymore. I would side Nibs. But these are the 5 that could be cut. I kept this in because I don't have Pankratops at the moment. And this card is really good against Yummy. I feel like this checks like a majority of the Yummy board. Because if you summon it and they end on the rest of the board after that, it's like Herald that's scary, Surprise, and Cookie. So I feel like everything else is like hand traps. Plus the like Akuri, Pop, or whatever. We don't give a fuck about that. This card checks at least 2 out of those 4 interruptions. So the fact that I can run over Herald, and then they're forced to cookie you early, and then you can either negate that, or they'll surprise... Oh, they can't surprise you if it's just Phantasme. So they have to cookie you, and then you can negate the cookie, and then still run over the Herald, so it forces the Herald negate. So, I think Phantasme is still really good. Perulia could be cut. I find this card doesn't have as much value as it used to. It's okay against Yummy. It's okay against Me2. It's bad against Draco because they get 1 card. So this card's like not very good. It's probably gonna find its way out of my side deck and play something else. I'm not too sure what I want to play at the moment. Maybe Pankratops because I think the Yummy matchup is really tough for me personally. Dracotail is easy enough with the Retalcy and the Evenlies. So maybe I'll play Pankratops. I have the Mitsu stuff is kind of scary, so I might start finding like better board breakers. Because Evenly really put in work today, and I made me realize how good board breakers are. So maybe if I can think of another board breaker, that's what the Perulias will be cut for. But other than that, I've been playing this deck list for like 2 weeks. It's been really solid. You know, like I said, probably cut Perulias, but I think the main deck is perfect. Truly, I really can't think of anything else to cut. So maybe Nibs to Drolls if Mitsu's really good at my levels, but